Hello again, everybody. I am Lunaris. This is Dark Souls, and welcome back. So I did a quick search on the internet because I couldn't remember, and all I had to do was kill the Hydra and reload the area so that that golem, that gold blotch you see behind my shoulder there, would spawn. And when we kill that golem, like we were trying to do before, the girl will fall out, and we can talk to her. Because talking to her and having access to her is part of the way that we have access to the DLC, which is something that I would like to do before we go much farther in the game.
So, 'tis thou who rescueth me. Most gracious, I am deeply obliged. I am Dusk of Oolacile. I cometh from an age long before thine. I cannot stay here for long. So, before I disappear, allow me to ask one thing. My home, Oolacile, is the home of ancient sorceries. My hope is to pass this profound knowledge to thee, with thine approval. Would this be of assistance to thee?
Yes.
My heartfelt thanks. I am pleased beyond words. Then I shout, engrave my signature. If thou art in need, pray summon me from my signature. It seems that my time is done. May the great flames guide thee.
Okay, so now if we come back to where we fought the Hydra, this, I'll just run to it. It's an area right over here. If we come back there while we are in human form, her summon sign will appear. We can summon her into our world, and if we do so, we can buy sorcery from her, and we can talk to her about wherever it is she came from, which I believe she called it Oolacile. Oh, maybe we can summon her without being... Oh, yes, we can. Well, let's do that. Let's go ahead and talk to Dusk.
I am Dusk of Oolacile. It is an honor to see thee again. I shall follow thine wishes.
We'll learn to gesture from her. Let's see what we can purchase. Oolacile Ivory Catalyst. Sorcery Catalyst of the Lost Land of Oolacile. Formed by enchanted white bark branches. The white bark boosts sorcery adjustment, but the sorceries of this lost land are gentle and not affected by intelligence. So I'll be absolutely honest, and I don't... That description was vague, but it has something to do with how you cast sorcery or what sorceries you cast with that weapon, but I'm not exactly sure on what that means for player characters. It's just a nice little lore add-in. They've adjusted the weapon itself, the item itself, to fit a style of play or a style of sorcery. And all these sorceries are non-offensive. Hidden Body allows you to become mostly invisible. Cast Light creates a light around you or a light in the area that you're in. Repair repairs your armor and weapons. Chameleon allows you to become an object that is part of the map, like wherever you happen to be. If you get invaded by an unfriendly player, you can use Chameleon and become a part of the scenery so that you can hide from an unfriendly player. And Hidden Weapon, I'm not exactly sure the practical uses of Hidden Weapon, but what it does is it turns your weapon invisible. And I assume that what that's for is so that if you go up in a duel with someone, they can't exactly tell what you're going to throw at them when you start attacking them. But I don't need any of these things. I just want to talk to her.
For a very long time, I was trapped within the crystal golem. From my home I was taken and banished to a plane of distortion. It was there that thou came to my rescue, long after I had relinquished all hope. So gleeful was I. My faith reneweth. The sorceries of Oolacile differ from the magic of thine age. It is difficult to explain. Oolacile's sorceries are, what doth one say? They're somewhat of an approximation. Thine sorceries are more straightforward, negating all but thyself. Dost thou not find some fascination in these discrepancies?
I believe what she's talking about there is the nature of sorcery that comes from the land of Lordran and the mages of Vinheim is very offensive. It's about manifesting your own internal will and projecting your will upon the world around you through force, through manipulation. But Oolacile practices a school of magic that says, I will bend myself to the will of the things around me, and I will blend with my surroundings, and I will almost like harmonious sorceries, I guess. Sorceries more in tune with the flow, the natural flow of the magics around them, which is why it would make sense that therefore concealment, therefore camouflage. So, I mean, I'm not sure if that's the truth, but that's about an approximation of my understanding of how it works and what it means.
The sorceries, it is for thine. If thou art in need, pray summon me again. I wish to be of assistance. May the flames guide thee.
She didn't have much else to say other than that. Alright, so that was the first thing that we needed to do in order to get the DLC content underway. The next thing I would like to do I believe we want to warp to Anor Londo to do this. We have to go to the archives, the Grand Archives, the Duke's Archives. Yeah, the Duke's Archives. We have to go to the Duke's Archives and fight a particular enemy. And from that particular enemy, we will get an item. And through that item, we will have access to the new areas. Looks like I might have to fight this guy. I don't wanna. Not gonna lie, I super don't wanna. Just because it's annoying. They're not... These guys aren't difficult at this point. It's just kind of annoying. Let me change my ring to get my poise back. Poise is going to be super important. So the nice thing about the Grass Crest shield that I'm using right now is that my stamina recovery is going to be pretty bananas. The problem is that it sacrifices a little bit of my physical protection. Let me see if I can take a look at exactly. Yeah, it's got 95 physical reduction as opposed to 100 on the Crest shield. But all of its other resistances are pretty good too. The only way that my other shields outclass it is like other shields of its class, I guess. The only way they outdo it is by being specifically for something else. So the Grass Crest shield is not a bad shield to go with. Like, it's, you could definitely do much worse, and for its weight class you could only do a little better. The shields are kind of situational, but the Grass Crest shield is nice in that, like, you can use it in pretty much all the situations just because of that stamina regen. So that's kind of hairy. Fangboar helm, that's pretty good. It might actually be easier to set these guys on fire. I don't know. Might actually be the better option. We'll see. We'll see how it works. No, the sight still does more damage. I kind of figured being in heavy armor they'd cook a little better, but I guess not. I don't remember exactly where the enemy is that I'm going to want to fight to get this item that I need. But that's fine. It's not really a big deal. Worst comes to worst, we'll just warp somewhere else and move on. I think this is right. Yeah, I think it's that golem right there. I need to be really careful about how I approach all these different new situations, because these crystal enemies are pretty tough. They can take a lot of punishment, even though I've leveled up as much as you know, as much as I have. And those magic users are going to be a major problem as well. But that's fine, because like I said, we're not here for anything but, I believe, that golem. I believe the golem is the one this one is the one I want to kill. Yep, the broken pendant was what we needed. Crystal straight sword, that's kind of cool. That's a pretty powerful weapon. The crystal weapons are all very powerful for their class, like for whatever, like a crystal halberd or crystal scythe or whatever. They're going to be very high base damage. The only problem is, because they're made of crystal, they cannot be repaired, and they are very, very fragile. So once they break, they're gone forever, and there's no way to repair them. I still can't level up. But now that we have the item that we wanted, let's go ahead and warp to the closest area. Would be the Undead Parish. And we are back. And now that I have that broken pendant, I have freed Dusk of Oolacile from her crystal golem prison. When we come back to this area with the broken pendant, that is how we access the download content area. And before I go through with it, there's been a lot of mention of a man named Artorias. Artorias the Abyss Walker was one of Gwyn's 4 great knights. He was the only individual successful in traversing the Abyss and surviving. And legend has it that he sealed off the spread of the Abyss in Oolacile, because Dusk's homeland of Oolacile was swallowed mostly by the Abyss. And it despite Artorias' best efforts, Oolacile fell even though he was able to seal it away. But that's not entirely true. What we're about to experience right now is exactly what happened to Artorias the Abyss Walker. And we could feasibly do this at any point in the run. There is a specific reason as to why I wanted to do it this early, because according to some relatively good sources that I've found, guys who do lore videos, Vati Vidya, Epic Name Bro, stuff like that, if you do the downloadable content before you fight the 4 Kings of New Londo using Artorias' Abyss Walking powers, a boss fight that comes up just before that has a different intro, and it's something that's special that they added in after they did the DLC content, and it's something that I've never seen before, so I'm going to try and get it to trigger. Before we take a look at this weird blotch in the sky, this is all of Dusk's equipment, and now we have this strange blotch that seems to, no matter what way you look at it, it appears to be looking at you. Look at that, that's kind of eerie. It stretches out. And we are now in the land of Oolacile. Sometime in the past. I don't know exactly how long in the past this is supposed to be. But this is indeed before Artorias was fabled to have sealed away the Abyss. You know what? We're gonna go ahead and end this episode right here because things are about to get very exciting. So we'll save that for the next time. As always, I am Lunaris. This has been Dark Souls. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.